How is that now? Hey, folks, Dave back here. And I was just going to set up some of my teams here for one of the projects I was going to be working on. And it was actually going to be. All right, so I sound all right, and I am live. I had a little hiccup here earlier when I was trying to go on. And so I'm going to walk you through it here. I already did one of these, but I'm going to kind of do this and have you look over my shoulder, if you will. So if you want to follow along, and if you got any questions, you can ask me those questions while I set this up. Because I'm going to set up the finals, the 1970-71 finals here in 49 Quick Decks Hockey, and I'm going to get my rosters printed out, and I'm going to show you how I do it, is what I'm going to do. As soon as I get this set up here, so make sure everything looks good. Am I on right now? Sorry about this. I had a big hiccup earlier, and now I'm not even showing myself. Unfortunately, this is kind of how I have to do it when I'm on a certain software program. All right, that looks good. Sorry about that. All right. As Philip Reynolds drops by. Hi, Philip. Now I can see you here in my chat room. All right, so let me just show you what I'm going to be doing here. So let me get rid of this. I think we're all set, and I think we're online. All righty, so let me come back to this right here, and I'm going to go like this. All right, so this should now show you my full screen. All righty. And so this is how I'm going to do this. So I am at 1970, 71, and I'm on Hockey Reference here, which I'm on all day long. For one reason or another, I'm either at the baseball, football, the Hockey Reference, sometimes basketball too. So I get on the League Playoff Series. I'm going to click View Matchup. And this brings up my matchup here. So this shows me who played for the Blackhawks and the goalie and who played for the Canadians. Okay, and so I'm going to start with the Blackhawks. And this just what's great about this, it shows you what position they played and how many games they played and how many goals, all the stats. You know what the stats are. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort by game play. So I'm just going to click on that and sort by game play. Now, this was a 7-game series. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top probably 18 guys. As you can see, a couple guys here only played 2, and then some guys played 4. So if I get on my list and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I'm down around here. So I have to make a decision. Am I going to play Dan Maloney or Jerry Korab at all? The other guys, at least have played 4 games, so I'm going to put them on the list. So that sorts out by game played. Now, let me come over here, and I'm going to do this. And now I have this is the Chicago 1970-71 team chart that you get when you buy the game. This is the Excel version. So what I like to do is that you can move these around. So I spread these out just a little bit to give us some room. And now I'm going to add the pictures. And I'm going to go to my hockey logos. Where are my hockey logos? And I just grab these off the internet. So this is nothing crazy. And I'm going to grab the Blackhawks. All righty. And then this is just something I do. You don't have to, but you know me. I like to kind of doll my stuff up. So I'm going to take the Blackhawks. I'm going to drop them right about there. Make it as big as I can, and there we go. So now I'm going to File, Save As, and I'm going to call this, this is the finals. So 1970-71, I'm going to call this the finals. You never want to wreck your original sheet, so always call it something else. Then what I like to do is I like to make this 100%. It just kind of shrinks it down. Then what I like to do is come over here and just stretch this out just a smidge so these all fall nice and flat and they're not stacked up like that. Okay, so that is my starting point here, okay? At the bottom of your goalies, okay, usually they're an image. So this is an image, okay? So I can move this around. Now, I'm pretty sure that Maloche and Ken Brown did not play in the playoffs. So if you right-click on your goalies, you can go to this crop, and it brings up the crop here. And I believe if you hold Alt and drag this in, you can get rid of some of this stuff here. Now I think I need to actually zoom in a little bit here. So let me zoom in to, let's go 130%. And I think that will now allow me to, well, maybe not. I don't want to leave that. How do I get rid of that? Maybe stretch this out a little bit. How about that? There we go. I just want to get rid of this guy. Oh, well, I see what it's doing now. Never mind. All right, that's getting there. Can I drag that in a little bit? I was getting pretty good at doing this here. And we're just going to stretch that out just a smidge. And that might be all right. Let me do this a little bit more. Nope, don't want to do that. Let me undo that. Now that'll be pretty close. Let me undo that too. Let me just stretch this out just a smidge over here. I want to get rid of that line there. It's kind of a pain in the neck sometimes. Oh, there we go. All right. So that's pretty good. So now I got my two goalies as one image because I'm not going to use the other guys in the playoffs. So that'll be my two goalies. All right. That took a little bit longer than it should have. Oh, the puck move here. I need to fix that. There we go. And the takeaway. And block. And that'll all come out when I print anyway, but I like to have them sit like that. Okay, so now let me save this here. So now this is my 1970 roster that came with the game, and I got the two goalies. I don't need the other goalies, so I got my two goalies, and that's fine by me. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to shrink this over here, and I'm going to put this back to 100%. So now we can see everything going on. And now here are the guys that played. So I need to go and figure out what I need to change. So Mikita, Hull, and Mackey. So we have Mikita, Hull, and do I have Chico Mackey? Yes. So the first line is good. I don't need to touch the first line. Martin, Hull, and Patton. So Pitt Martin. In fact, I can do it like this. Pitt Martin, yes. Dennis Hull, yes. And Jim Pappin, I believe, played. Yes. Okay, second line's good. Brian Campbell, Jerry Pinder, and Coral. So Brian Campbell did not play. Jerry Pinder did play, and Cliff Coral did play. So Brian Campbell did not play. I'm not seeing him here, so he did not play. So I'm going to make a note. I'm going to go off on the side over here, and I'm going to make a little note that Brian Campbell, the center, did not play. So he's a center, and he is on my out list, if you will. Now, Lou Angotti did play, and Dan Maloney, well, we talked about him a second ago, and Dan Maloney, he only played 2 games, so he's on the fence, but I think we're going to squeak him in here. So Dan Maloney did play, but even though he played 2 games. Now, for defense, Pat Stapleton, I believe he played. Yes, he did. Bill White played. Keith Magnuson, yes. Jarrett played, and Jerry Korab. Well, Korab played 2, so he's on the bubble. Okay, so now what I like to do is see who's on the list that played, but is not on my list over here. Okay, so again, this is how I do it, and you might be able to come up with different ways. So right now, Brian Campbell's out, and Korab and Maloney are on the fence. So I'm going to make my my Korab and Maloney, they're kind of on the fence. I'm just making notes over here that you can't see. So who did play? So Angotti, yep, he's on the list. Rick Foley, defenseman, he needs to come in. And he actually played 4 games, so I think we're going to get him in. So Rick Foley probably should play. Bobby Hull, Dennis Hull, Doug Jarrett are all good. Jerry Korab, he's on the list. He only played 2, so he's on the bubble. Coral, Magnuson, Mackey, Maloney. Maloney's on the bubble. Martin, Mikita, Nestorenko. All right, so Eric Nestorenko, the right wing, needs to go in, and he's not on my list. So we need to put in Foley on the D, and Nestorenko will be on the right wing. Danny O'Shea, here's another guy that played in every game, and he's not on my list. So now we've got to put in O'Shea, who's a center. Jim Pappen is good. Jerry Pinder is good. Paul Schmier, defenseman, played 4 games, so he might want to play too. So Schmier is a defenseman that played 4 games. So we have figured out who's out and who's in for the most part. So what I do need to do is this Foley guy played 4. Who else has played? Danny O'Shea. Danny O'Shea played 7 games. So Danny O'Shea needs to play. And Brian Campbell is coming out. So this guy here, all right, this guy here, he'll be coming out. But now what I need to do is Adam Zero. Thank you so much, Adam Zero. Yes, I'm going to try to show you here. And I'm terrible at explaining it, but you can kind of follow along, okay? Oh, Pittman came to the Hawks in that infamous Esposito trade. Well, this is 70-71, if you will. So what I'm going to do now, this is where the fun comes in. So I'm the coach now. My first 2 lines are solid. I'm not touching these 2 lines. These guys played in every game, and so they're in. But Brian Campbell did not play at all. So Danny O'Shea is coming in. But then I have Lou Angotti, who played 7 games. So I have Lou. Do I want to slide him up into the 3rd line, or do I want to keep him back on line 4? So let me check my extra players. So Lou Angotti, his rating is he's a 7 on the O rate. So let me go to my extra players. So down here, I got my team chart, I got my special teams, and then I have my extra players. And let me view at 100% so I can see everything here. So these are all the extra players for Chicago. Now this is the lineup here, and these are my extra players. So Danny O'Shea is a 6, right? And Lou Angotti's a 7. So what I'm going to do is I don't know exactly the lines that played in that game, and I'm not going to go back and watch the YouTube video to make sure. I'm going to slide my 4th line center up into the 3rd line. That's how I'm going to do it. That's my executive decision. So I'm going to take Lou Angotti. I'm going to Control-C and then Control-V. And now Lou Angotti is now my 2nd line center. So now I can come to my extra players, and I'm going to go up here to Danny O'Shea. I will Control-C Danny O'Shea, and he will come into my 4th line. Now, one thing I'm going to have to do, you see the line above Lou Angotti? I'm going to have to change that with Danny O'Shea, because when I put that here, the line's still there, so the line must have been to Carl. Sometimes you have to add the line, and I'll show you how to do that when that comes up. So we get Danny O'Shea in there. So Angotti, Pinder played, and Cliff Carl played. So, yeah, so I got my top 3 lines are pretty good. So the only guy I had to take out was my 2nd line center. So what I did is I slid Lou up into the line 3, and Danny O'Shea, who did play, will be line 4. What now? I know back in the day, they didn't play 18 guys, okay, or it's 20, whatever it was. They always were a little short. So again, if you get 3, 3, 3, 3, this is 12. Then you got 14, 16, 18. They didn't play 18. I think they only had 16 or 17. What I do, because it's my game and it just makes it easier for me, I fill the roster, okay? If I'm doing a single game and I know that they didn't have any extra players, then I will double shift a top guy. So here there's no right wing. Chico Mackey, what I would do is Chico Mackey would come down here, and he would double shift on the 4th line. That's just how Dave does it. Again, you can do it any way you want, but that's what I normally do. If I know that I have a center and a left wing and I'm missing a right wing, then I'll double shift the forward up here. The same with the defense. If I happen to have 4 full lines up here and I'm missing a defenseman, then I'll double shift a top line defenseman on the 3rd line. Because when I play the game, I want to have all the lines full, even if it's somebody double shifting. But for this situation, because it's playoffs and I'm kind of taking the top 18 guys, I'm going to fill it with different players. So Chico Mackey will not be double shifting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this Nestorenko guy that played all 7 games. So let me come over here to Nestorenko, and he's up here. So he's 5. He's an offensive 5. Now he's a 0 on the power play. He's a 3 on the penalty kill. That's what 0-3 is. So he might play on the penalty kill. So he's a 5. Let me come back here. Okay, well, Cliff Carl's a 9, so I'm not going to replace a 9 with a 5. So Cliff Carl, he'll stay here, and I will go get Nestorenko, and I will grab Eric Nestorenko up here on the extra players, Control-C, and then I will drop Nestorenko here on the 4th line. Now, as you can see, there's a line up here I need to get rid of. So let me grab Nesterenko. Let me right-click, go to Format Cells, go to my border, and I'm going to take away the top border. And that should fix that, and yes, it does. And so now we have everything looking really good over here. So we got the center, the left wing, and you can change these too. So if you wanted to change this to the right wing, you can change that. I wouldn't recommend it because you want to keep that in order. But if you dropped in a right wing here and it said right wing, you could swap it to left wing. Is kind of what I was getting at. Okay, so I got my logo up here. I got all my forward lines that I think I'm going to go. So let me save so I don't forget. All right, so now I've saved, so I'm not going to screw anything up here. And Rabbit Wolverine says, you can copy and paste without changing the borders and stuff, so you don't have to keep fixing it. That I don't know how to do that, so I'm just going to kind of do it my own way because I just don't know how to do that. All right, so I like Stapleton White and Magnuson and Jarrett. So this is my other situation here. So we have Foley, who played 4 games. Schmier played 4 games. So what I'm thinking is Korab's coming out. As much as I like King Kong Korab, he only played the 2 games. So in my game, I need to get Foley and Schmier in because they played the most games. That's just kind of how I'm going to do it. So let me go to my extra players. So I have Paul Schmier and Rick Foley. And, well, Foley's an 8, but see, there's the 0 shooting here. So I think these are going to be my 4th line guys. And I don't know which played which, so I'm just going to take Schmier. And Paul Schmier will come over here, and he'll be my left defense. Okay. And, again, let me put the border on the top. So we're going to go Format Cells, choose a thick border, and put the border on the top. And that should put the border there, and it does. I will change this to LD. And so Paul Schmier is there. And then my extra player, we said it was Rick Foley. And look at that, 44 in the penalty. Oh, boy. Rick Foley. Oh, it's going to be fun having him out there on the 4th line. So we'll put Foley in here. And we're going to put a border at the bottom for Foley. So I'm going to right-click, go to my Format Cells, click on this here, and we'll add that to the bottom. And so now that is that. Every now and then you get this little triangle here. Click on the cell and ignore the error, and that'll get rid of the triangle because I think it does print the triangles. So you don't want to have that. So I think that's looking pretty good right now for my Chicago Blackhawks 70-71 finals. And again, I could go game by game. If I wanted to, I could click on the individual game here, and it would tell me exactly who played in what game. But for the we talked about earlier on the show about different games and different projects. I don't want to overthink this. I think it was Jeff that said that in the chat. He goes, don't overthink it because you'll drive yourself crazy. So for me, I can print out one of these, and this will kind of carry me through the playoffs. So yes, Jerry Korab will not get in any games because he got in 2, but I'm not going to set it up for each individual game. So that is my forwards right now. I mean, I'm in my defense on the starting. So that's my starting guys. So I got my 2 goalies down here, and I got all my forwards and defensemen in the order I want it to be. Now, for the special teams, I want to copy this. So I'm going to Control-C, my special teams, and I'm going to put that down here. So now I got my goalies on my special team shot. So when I flip over the page, I have my goalies here. I don't have to worry about finding my goalies. And what I like to do when doing this, I like to have my goalies on the team page. So I don't have to worry about printing out the little goalies, the team cards or the goalie cards, and putting them on the scoreboard area. I like to have them on the team card. That's just me. And I've liked doing that since I did it. Okay, so let's check the power play now. So I'm going to save. And Makita, yes. And Hull, Mackey, Stapleton, and White. So they all played, so I don't have to worry about that. So the only guy I really got to check now is Campbell. Okay, because Campbell didn't play. So Campbell is not anywhere up here. So this is, but Korab is. So I need to find somebody to play with Magnuson on this line here. Because all these other guys are good. So let me go back to my team chart here. And so we have what? Stapleton and White and Magnuson. So Stapleton and White, Magnuson. Jarrett is a 1 out of 4, but I don't really want to put Foley here, who's a 2. Because he's got too many penalty minutes, and he's got 0 shooting. So I think it's going to be Jarrett. Schmier, though, has got the ones. At least he'll get a shot. So I'm going to put Schmier. I'm going to make an executive decision here. And I'm going to take Schmier, even though Jarrett's got, well, the other thing is he does have the 1, and you're mostly going to shoot from the outside. And he does have the D rate 11, a little higher O rate. Okay, I will go with Jarrett. He does have the 1. He doesn't have any shooting range inside or in the slot, but as long as it's going to be a choice. Oh, boy, I need to flip a coin on this, actually. I need to flip a coin on this. I need to see what yeah, because you can see if it's going to be an inside shot or a slot, Jarrett has nothing. At least Schmier has 1. But Schmier is less than Jarrett with this here. So, again, I don't want to overthink it here. Well, Schmier also had 17 penalty minutes compared to Jarrett, who Jarrett had 1 assist. So we're going to go with Jarrett. All right, so let's just he went to Jarrett. All right, he went to Jarrett. So we're going to come over here. Now, the other thing is that you don't take the injury rating when you go to the special teams. You only take, actually what we can do is we can go from here. So we're just going to go the right D over, and he's going to be a 1 on the power play. So we're going to go the right D over. We're going to push this in here, and he's only a 1 on the power play. So that's going to be my power play unit. Let's get rid of the triangles. Again, highlight them, ignore the error. Ignore the error. So now that won't print. So there's my line 1 and line 2 special teams, and save. Notice I don't have a logo here. There's really no place to put a logo unless they put it down here with the goalies, and I don't really need to do that. And Gus says he likes the goalies in the team card too. Yeah, so do I. All right, so Brian Campbell's got to come out. Remember, he did not play, so we need to get him out. So I need to find a good center for the power play. So back over here. Who do I have here? So Makita's only a 2. Pitt Martin's a 3. Angotti's a 4. So I think it's going to be Martin and Angotti. So what do I have here? So I have Angotti here. Oh, not Martin. It was, Pitt Martin. All right, so we're going to take Pitt Martin. So we're going to go Control-C. And we're going to put him up here on. Actually, we could grab him. He's here, so we'll just grab him here. So we're going to grab Pitt Martin. And we're going to put him up here on line 1 penalty kill. Now, I don't have to worry about this, changing this down here, because I never really use line 3 penalty kill. It just hasn't come up for me yet. So what I will do is I will just I usually just double shift them. Here's what I do. So I'll do that. So we got so Martin, Carl, Stapleton, White looks good to me. Let's get rid of the errors. And so Angotti. Now, Dan Maloney didn't play, right? Dan Maloney, I don't have him on my list over here, right? So Dan Maloney is out. So I need another forward here for the second shorthanded unit. And so we have Stapleton, White, Jarrett, and Magnuson. So I think, we'll keep that. That's fine. We can get rid of Korab. So what I'll do is I'll double shift White just because I have him here, so I don't get confused. Pitt Martin will double shift. That's fine. And what do we want to do? Oh, we got to get rid of Dan Maloney. So I have Angotti. So Martin, Carl. So Martin, Carl. Dan Maloney was a 4. He was pretty good. Angotti and Dennis Hull. I think I might slide Dennis Hull up here. Yeah, so we're going to take Dennis Hull, and he will double shift. Even not really double shift because I won't be ever using him. So Angotti, Hull, Magnuson, Jarrett. And then let's get rid of this error message. And I think we're good now. Okay, does everything look good now? So I got my power play unit 1 and 2. I got my shorthanded. I don't really ever use a 3, so I don't mind that some of these guys are on here twice. And I think that looks good. Okay, so I'm going to save this. And now all I would do is print that out, and my Blackhawks are done. Rabbit Wolverine, thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, is every now and then I like to do an educational video like this to help people out. All right, so Chicago's done, so I will print that on my printer, and that will be that. So let me get rid of Chicago, and let's call up Montreal now. All right, again, we're going to go to 100% view. I like to fix these things here, so I make sure that they're not bundled up. I like to have them nice and neat when I do it here. So I think that looks good like this. So we will bundle. Oh, I need to get my logo. Oh, and I need to spread these out a little bit. All right, so let me get my logo. I'm going to go Insert, Pictures, Place Over Cells, this device. And we're going to go find the Canadians, which is this. And we're just going to kind of drop that into the same place that I put the Blackhawks. And again, this is something I'm doing. This doesn't come with the game. This is just me. The Excel spreadsheet does. The logos do not, just so we're clear. So we'll put Montreal like that. So we're going to File, Save As, Montreal, 70-71 Finals. That way I do not touch the main spreadsheet. So the main spreadsheet is safe. Now down the bottom here, let's see. Well, yeah, Dryden did play, right? Dryden was the main guy, so we need to leave him on. So let's go. We want to right-click and crop. And let's see if we can crop this one up nice and neat. Yep, that's a little bit easier than the last one. Then I can center them up if you want. So these are my goalies. Again, that was probably Dryden I'm going to be using, but I can put him there. All right, so let's save this here. We have our logo. We have our goalies all set. Let's take a look to see who played for Montreal. And so we're going to sort by game played. And so, again, we'll just start over here. Bellevue. Actually, let's go by name, actually. Bellevue, yes. Lemaire. Actually, I should do it this way, shouldn't I? Bellevue, yes. Bouchard. Okay, I got to put Bouchard on here. So let me make my notes. So Pierre Bouchard is not on the list that I can see. So Pierre Bouchard, and he is a defenseman. So I don't have him on the list. Cornway, yes. Ferguson is a left winger. And no, I don't have a Ferguson. Now, he played 6 games, so I'm going to probably get Ferguson in the game as a left wing. Again, you can figure it out whatever way you want. I'm just trying to get on my list to see who's here. Let's see. Actually, I think I did it the other way before. Bellevue, yes. Lemaire. No Lemaire. There's no. Oh, yeah, there is Lemaire right here, right? Yeah, we do. So Bellevue, Lemaire, Conway, Pete Mahavlich. Yes. Mark Tardif. Yes. Mickey Redmond. I think he was traded at this point. So Mickey Redmond did not play. So Mickey Redmond is out. And Mickey Redmond was a right winger. So Mickey Redmond is out as a right winger. Andre Richard. Yes. Frank. Yes. Claude LaRose. Yes. Rochefort. Yes. Réjean Houle. Yes. J.C. Tremblay. Yes. Guy Lapointe. Yes. Terry Harper. Yes. Serge Savard. No. So there's no Serge Savard. He is out. Jacques Laperriere. Yes. All right. So I need Redmond and Savard to come out. Now, who played that is not on the list? Bellevue, Conway, Harper, Houle, Laperriere, Lapointe, Lemaire, Mahavich, Rashad, Mark, Tardif, Sami, Ferguson. Yeah, we already talked about Ferguson. Rochefort, Phil Roberto. I don't have him. So Leon Rochefort. Yep. And so the right wing, Roberto. So we need to bring in Roberto on the right wing. Pierre Bouchard, defenseman. We need to add him. And Claude LaRose is in. And Bob Murdoch played a couple of games. So I don't know. Maybe we will add Bob Murdoch. How many guys here we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'll say we'll add them all. So Bob Murdoch will play. So we gotta add a few guys here. So we need Mickey Redmond to come out on the right wing, Savard to come out on the D. I'm gonna start with the D first. So we need to add Bouchard, who is a D. And I love how I can sort all this stuff here. So Bouchard. And also Murdoch is coming in. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6D that we're going to play. So Bouchard and Murdoch. And so let's see where they are. Montreal extra players. View at 100%. All right. So we have Bob Murdoch. So he's a 10 on offense. Still no shooting range though. It's kind of weird. And the other guy was Bouchard. We said, right? Pierre Bouchard. So he's an 8 on defense. So we have an 8 and a 6. Do I want to slide LaPerriere up for Serge Savard, or do I want to keep LaPerriere back? This is where the defense comes in here. So I have an 8, and I have an 8. Oh, wait, no. Bouchard's a 5. 5 and an 8. 5 and an 8 for Bouchard and Murdoch. So I got Bouchard, 5 and an 8, and Murdoch is a 6. He's got a lot of penalty minutes. I'm going to put Bouchard. I'm going to slide up this guy here is what I'm going to do. So if Serge Savard is out, then I'm going to slide Jacques Laperriere up to right D. Again, I don't know if this was the case, but this is what I'm going to do. And I need to fix my cells. So we're going to put no border at the top, and we're going to put a border at the bottom. And does that fix that? Yes, it does. So Laperriere will now be right D. And then I'll bring in the 2 guys not on this list. And we said that they were Bouchard and Collins, right? So Bouchard will come in. And we'll drop him in here. And then we'll go to Murdoch, it was, right? Bob Murdoch. He played a couple of games. Bob Murdoch will come in. And again, I don't know who played right and left. And then we'll go here and we'll go to the format cells. We'll put the thick line at the bottom. And he's good to go. So let's get rid of this. Ignore the error. All right, so my defense is done. Let's save that. Okay. So now it's my offense. So I need to get rid of Mickey Redmond. He did not play. Savard is already gone. So our defense is good. So now we got to take care of that. So I need to get Ferguson and Roberto in. So Ferguson was a left winger, and Roberto was a right winger. So Mickey Redmond's coming out. So he was a 9. So I got Claude LaRose is a 6. And Phil Roberto, he's an 8. So I'm liking this. So I'm going to take Phil Roberto, and I'm going to go straight up for Mickey Redmond is what I'm going to do with Phil Roberto. Okay? And then I got to add the bottom to these cells. So stick the thick line, do that. All right, so Phil Roberto's in straight up for Mickey Redmond, and I think that's a good fit with the 10 and the 8. And let's get rid of the error message here. Ignore the error. Let's save now. All right, so how's this looking now? So I do need one more guy. So I have Ferguson in. No, Ferguson's coming in, Roberto. So I need Ferguson. That's the only guy I need. If I'm right, John Ferguson. Now, he's a left wing. But I have Lemaire. Who played center. 1, 2, 3. So I got 4 centers here. But they already have centers here. So they get Bellevue as a center. Pete Mahavlich as a center. Richard. Henry Richard as a center. Bellevue. Bellevue. So they got Rochford as a center. Rochford was a right wing. So how about this? So we need to bring in Ferguson, who's a left wing. And Ferguson, he's a decent left wing too. So if they said they have Bellevue, Mahavlich, Richard, Lemaire. So they got Lemaire on left wing. I'm gonna leave it as it is because I don't know enough about this. So again, if you're a big Montreal fan from 70-71 and you know more about this than me, then you can manipulate this if you want. But I'm gonna leave Lemaire up here because that's what they have. And so I'm gonna drop down here. I'm going to take John Ferguson, who I need to get into the game. So John Ferguson on left wing. And I will drop him here on the right wing. Okay. And I need to get rid of that above him. So let me go to Format Cells, and we'll get rid of that border at the top. And we're going to call him right wing. Now, did Rajan Uhl play? Yeah, he did. He was a right wing. All right, so they had Uhl on the right wing. Ferguson's a left wing. So I could actually swap that up if I wanted to. So I could go to Rajan Uhl. And we're going to copy him. Let me do this again. Control him. And we'll put Uhl on the right wing because that's what he was said it was. So we'll just do that. And then we'll come back. Oh, boy, come on. Come back over here to Ferguson, and we'll put him on the left wing where he belongs. How about that? Right? Sound good? So now Uhl will be on the right wing. And again, if you know more about this than I do, then you can just do this and put whatever you want. Oh, I need to get rid of the top border, I think it was. All right. So I think that's going to be good there. Again, it's never exact, but if you know exact, then that's how you do it. You just move the stuff around, but I'm just kind of showing you what I do. All right, so let's copy my goalies. Go to the special teams. Drop them on the special teams. Now I have my goalies. And we're going to view at 100%. I'm going to fix my rows here so I can see everything. And when you go to print, here's a little pro tip for you. So when I come back over here, here's how I'm going to print. I'm going to grab everything just like this and go to File, Print, and then I'm going to print the selection and select it on one page. And then you'll get it all on one page. That's the key. I also go to Custom Margins and make the top a 1/2 inch, and it slides it down a little bit for me. That's how I print. Okay? So in case you're wondering how to print, that's how you get it on one page. The key is fit sheet on one page and print the selection. So again, you can see the selection that I got. So that's how you would print it. Let's go back to my special teams. So Savard is out, so I need to get Serge Savard out of here because he did not play. Anybody else? I think everybody else is good. So Mickey Redmond has got to come out too. Now I said that for Mickey Redmond, I like this Phil Roberto guy. So I'm going to take him, Phil Roberto, and I think he's a 2. So when I bring him in for Mickey Redmond, he's only going to be a 2. Let's get rid of this error here. And let's get rid of this error. And so now we have this right now. Oh, and I need to get rid of this bottom thing here too. So let's go to Format Cells, and we can get rid of that bottom. Double click on that. There we go. So now we have 5 and 5. So Bellevue, Lemaire, Cornway, Tremblay, Lapointe, they all played. Mahavlich, Tardif, Roberto Harper. So I need to get Serge Savard. I need a better defenseman. So we have Tremblay. Any other 5s there? Guy Lapointe. Guy Lapointe. So we're going to put Guy Lapointe on the right D. And so he's already in the right D. So I need, that's a second line I need. So I get, who's with Harper now? LaPerriere. So yeah, so we're going to go LaPerriere. So he's a 4. So let me copy Jacques LaPerriere. And he'll go here. And he's a 4. Yep, right, 4. Yep, okay. So that'll be good like that. So let's save. So I think I have this. So I get rid of Mickey Redmond and Serge Savard. That's who I really need to get rid of. And now anybody else down here, I need to move around. I like to try to keep this as close as possible because it's just less movement. This looks good here, except for Savard. So there's no Mickey Redmond here, but there is a Savard. So Tremblay, Lapointe. Okay, we'll make it Lapointe. How about that? So they'll double shift. Again, I very rarely use the third line penalty kill. In fact, I don't think I ever have. We'll ignore the error. And I think that's good. So there's no Mickey Redmond and there's no Serge Savard, which is the guys I need to get rid of. Everything else here, I'm just going to leave as is. It's less work for me. So no Mickey Redmond, no Serge Savard. So let me save. So I think that would be it. So Montreal would be done too. And that's kind of how I do it. Is I just come over here and I look to see who played in the game. Make sure they're on my sheet. If they're on my sheet and didn't play the game, I make sure they're not on my sheet. And now I created the Montreal finals that I can print out. So I'll have Montreal, Chicago. And again, I just took the top 18. As it turned out, they only had 18, so everybody get in. And I know they didn't play every game, but it'll all average out at the end. So I'm interested to see what happens here, to see if Chicago can pull this off. Chicago did beat them one time in my replay. Let's go back to Studio B here. Hopefully I went to Studio B. Yeah, I am. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps setting up your 49 quick decks or highlight hockey in Excel. It's just, everything's all formatted. It's just cutting and pasting into the different positions. And sometimes you got to change a position, if you will. But it's fairly simple. And you get to be the coach. That's the best thing. You can set whatever lines you want. You can put this guy here. You can put that guy here. You can sit this guy out. I have a 70-71 Chicago Blackhawks game that they played the Seals, and it's vastly different than the games they played against Montreal. They probably played a lot of second, third, fourth line guys and rested some other guys, and they still beat the Seals, by the way. But that's the great thing about it, is you can just create one for every team or every game, whatever you want. It's wide open. But the idea that you can do this in this game, I like using the team sheets. In this game, I like the team sheets, and the ability to manipulate those team sheets so you're not stuck with the same one is kind of fun if that's how you want to do it. Again, you wouldn't even have to print it, actually. You could just kind of leave it on your screen if you wanted to play, so you wouldn't have to print out all these. I do like printing them out, so I have them on the table, and I usually play them more than once anyway. But that's how you do it. So I'm kind of hoping this helps out as Alan comes by. Thanks for these videos. If you get the game, you'll hit the ground running. Yeah, I think you should. I think you'll be able to hit the ground running. And if you want to manipulate these, great. Again, if you don't have a printer, you don't want to, you don't have to. You can still use the team sheets. That if you get the printed version, you can use the team sheets and be perfectly happy with that. You can do that, and it's not a big deal. For myself, again, hockey's a bigger deal for me, so I like to kind of get as close as I can. For the playoffs, for what I'm doing here for this product, we talked about this in the podcast tonight, different games for different projects. I'm okay with not going game by game for this one here. You might be a little bit more involved than me and want to do game by game, so you'll go and you'll rearrange your roster for every game and maybe get everything perfect as far as positions played. This is good enough for me. I get the guys that played in most of the games against the guys that played in most of the games. It gives me a good average and a good balance. So I'm going to be happy with this right now, as far as I can tell. So anyway, Gus already said that. I already said that he likes the goalie card on the team sheet. Yeah, yep, I do too, and that's why I did. And that's why I tend to go with my own printed sheets when I play this game, so I can set my lineups, put my goalies on there. And as you can see, some of the videos I did, it works very well. So hopefully that will help if you're setting up your own game. And again, if you want to dig into this and really move everybody around and set up any way you want, that's the great thing about this. You can do that. You can go in and set it up any way you want. And for me, I set it up. I went so far, and then I was okay. If you're not playing right wing, if it says right wing and you're playing center, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to get too crazy. But if you want to get crazy, you can get crazy. But anyway, I wanted to show that off because I know some people were asking about that, and hopefully that'll help. Any questions, let me know, and I'll try to help the best I can. But hopefully this shows you how to manipulate your rosters in 49 Quick Decks or Highlight Hockey. I'm Dave. We'll talk to you all later. Have a good night, everyone.